Hello class, I'm going to do 2 slides right now. Going to be real quick. We're going to redo the English Reformation slide that we rushed through, and then we're going to do the one on Scotland. First up, English Reformation slide will take a little bit more time with this one. Act of Supremacy, 1534. This is the one that's going to make the King of England the head of the church. This happens under Henry VIII. Remember, Henry VIII had 2 problems. 1, no money. 2, no heir. That's heir, not hair. By the way. He had some power over the clerical appointments and discipline, blah, blah, blah. And he ends up doing the 6 Articles Act, which ends up being an important thing for Elizabeth. But it ends up starting with him. And Henry VIII basically creates Protestantism in England because he needs a divorce. And he can't get one from the Pope. The Pope excommunicates him rather than give him a divorce. So he's like, all right, something's got to happen. So he's like, no more Pope. So this is Catholicism without a Pope. Now, he gives a couple of concessions to the Protestants, but basically, it is Catholicism. Concessions are right here. He promotes translating the Bible into vernacular, and he dissolves monasteries. Now, the dissolution of the monasteries, that one actually solves his other problem, which is he's broke. So he grabs the land from the monasteries, and then when he grabs the monastery land, he ends up selling it and making money for the crown again and paying off some of those debts. What's the point? Basically, the way this started was people, when he was Catholic, they're worried is he going to take orders from the Pope or is he going to take orders from Parliament? And eventually that gets scary because it's today he's doing the Pope's thing. He's doing Parliament's thing. What's he going to do tomorrow? You can't count on him. And it wasn't just people, it was nobles specifically that were worried. And then, he continues to consider himself Catholic. That's great. All right, next slide. Scotland, this is the one we didn't get to. Scotland is having all kinds of problems throughout this entire period. Oops. Scotland's always hated England. Scotland remains Catholic. England is now Protestant. And to be sure, Scotland kind of doesn't like playing by the rules so much. And they end up sending so the king is out of the picture. But he has a young daughter, and the young daughter is Mary, Queen of Scots. She's too young to rule when this whole thing gets started. And when she is old enough to rule, she can't actually rule in Scotland because she needs to secure the French alliance. So her mother rules in Scotland. That's Marie de Guise. Her mother also named Mary. But for our purposes, her mother is going to be Marie, and Mary is going to be Mary. Mary ends up in France at French court when she's around 14 because she's got to marry the French Dauphin. And the French Dauphin is the guy who is the son of the king, and he is the heir and the one that's going to inherit the throne. The king has other sons, but he's the one that's going to become king. Now, the Dauphin is very much willing to negotiate with Mary. However, his father, who remains king, is not so into Mary and doesn't really care about Scotland and only wants an alliance with Scotland as long as Scotland is useful. So what we end up with is problems. And those problems include the Dauphin and the king arguing over where are we going to send our troops, where are they going to go, what are they going to do. So her job basically as the Queen of Scotland, but not actually ruling in Scotland. Her mother's ruling in Scotland. Is to get all of the troops that she can to go to Scotland to help out, because her mother is suppressing all these rebellions. And King Henry is crazy, and we'll watch some videos on that because he's reading a poison Bible.
Hey, John.